Adapting a beloved kids show like Avatar, The Last Airbender was never going to be an easy feat. From its debut on Nickelodeon nearly 2 decades ago, the original Avatar series has only grown in popularity, capturing the hearts of both the young and the young at heart. As time passed and the original audience matured, the creators decided to age up the series as well. The result is a Netflix adaptation that attempts to put a darker, more mature spin on the joyous cartoon, leading to a unique challenge. This transformation is akin to a crisis of identity, where the series grapples with its roots as a children's show while navigating the waters of adult prestige programming. The magic of Avatar was always its ability to bring light into a world devastated by war, and this balance is now tested as the live-action adaptation dives into more mature themes and narratives. This new take on Avatar leaves the show in a strange limbo space between adult prestige programming and an adaptation of a kids' TV show. The power of the original Avatar series was in its unique blend of lightheartedness and serious themes. It was set in a world ravaged by war, yet it didn't solely dwell on the devastation. Instead, it focused on those who survived the conflict and their day-to-day lives. It asked us to ponder what makes them happy, what keeps them going, and what sometimes drags them back into the darkness of battle. But when we turn our attention to the new Netflix adaptation, we find ourselves in a different landscape. Here, bloody battles and off-screen genocides are enacted with brutal force. It's a stark contrast to the original, leaving the series in a peculiar limbo between adult prestige programming and an adaptation of a children's TV show. Within both series, animated and live action, we find our central characters, Aang, Katara, and Sokka. Aang, portrayed by the charming Gordon Cormier, is a young boy destined to control all 4 elements. It's a monumental task for an 11-year-old, and Aang initially flees from this destiny, only to find himself trapped for a century. Upon awakening, he befriends a young waterbender named Katara and her brother Sokka. But let's compare how Aang's character is portrayed in the 2 series. In the original, we met Aang as a friendly, mischief-making, otter-penguin-riding youngster. He was a beacon of joy and innocence in a world marked by conflict. In the Netflix series, however, Aang rarely gets to revel in the hijinks he's known for. Instead, he becomes a mission-driven character on a quest for peace. While this mission is noble, it's a departure from the original Aang we knew and loved, who was vibrant and often referenced his pacifism and veganism. Aang in the new series rarely gets to experience the hijinks he's known for, instead becoming a mission-driven character. This shift in character portrayal is just one of the many ways the power of the original Avatar series has been altered in its transition to the Netflix adaptation. Even before that introduction, the new show has made its grim, dark twist clear. From the very start, the new adaptation of Avatar, The Last Airbender by Netflix, isn't afraid to plunge into the depths of its darker themes. A stark difference from our first encounter with Aang in the animated series, where we're introduced to a friendly, mischief-making, otter-penguin-riding little kid. In the Netflix series, the genocide of the air nomads is shown in real time, a brutal spectacle that may leave some viewers off balance. This is a far cry from the joyous, adventurous tone of the cartoon series. Aang, as portrayed by the talented Gordon Cormier, attempts to channel the original spirit of the character. Still, the live-action Aang is more of a mission-driven entity than a playful kid, embarking on a quest for peace. What's more, the series largely overlooks the character's deep-rooted pacifism and veganism, aspects that made the animated Aang a whole, rounded character. In the process, Aang becomes less of a character and more of a plot device, his vibrancy and essence dimmed in the face of the series' darker themes. Moreover, the adaptation's attempt to navigate between adult prestige programming and a kids' TV show adaptation often leaves it in an odd limbo. It seems to be caught in a struggle of identity as it grapples with whether to retain the light-heartedness of the animated series or veer into the grim realism of adult programming. The desire to transform a joyous kids' TV series into a Game of Thrones-style drama seems to be the root cause of this identity crisis. It's as if the series is trying to don a cloak of prestige when the original Avatar was never about such grandeur, but about the simple joys of adventure and the power of friendship. In an effort to seemingly respect the impact of the original, the show takes a dark, dramatic, and overwrought turn. This change in tone and direction, while potentially intriguing for some, may be a hard pill to swallow for fans of the original series. In the season's second episode, we get a glimpse of what a more balanced and light version of the series might have looked like. The episode titled Warriors serves as a beacon of hope amidst the gloom and doom. This episode offers us a delightful detour to Kyoshi Island, where Aang Sokka and Katara meet Suki, portrayed brilliantly by Maria Jung. Her performance is a breath of fresh air in an otherwise heavy narrative. Warriors takes a dynamic, sweet, and exciting approach, providing a more faithful adaptation of the animated series that fans have come to love. It's a noticeable shift in tone from the first episode's grim atmosphere. It's like a ray of sunshine breaking through the clouds, offering a tantalizing taste of what could have been had the series embraced its original spirit and charm. The episode feels like the series is finding its rhythm, striking a balance between the beloved tone of the original and the demands of modern television. Even though Aang remains more serious than his animated counterpart, and the show maintains its deep interest in the devastation of war, there's a certain lightness that seeps in. Sokka's character, despite changes that removed a clear arc of disrespecting women and learning to correct his ways, remains delightful. His interactions with Suki bring warmth and levity, creating a sweet ensemble adventure that stays true to the roots of the original series. However, this success proved to be fleeting. The series, while having moments of brilliance, still struggles with its identity. It teeters on a tightrope, caught between its origins as a joyous kids' show and its aspirations to be a mature, dramatic series. The tension is palpable, and the struggle is real. The Avatar series has always been about balance, whether it's the balance of the four elements or the balance between light and dark. As viewers, we can only hope that the live-action adaptation finds its own balance, embracing its roots while carving out its own unique space in the television landscape. Despite some fleeting success, the series continues to struggle with its identity, caught between its origins as a kids' show and its aspirations as a mature, dramatic series.